Zirrelin ist gut rein in Kopf. Das, was der Tata hat ihr angesagt. So, whatever her father said to her, Cyrilla absorbed, she understood it, it went into her head what he had told her. Und von demult an hat sie genommen, verriegeln ihr Kamera und versperren mit den alten Kredenz. Eiderlegen sich schlafen. And from that time on, she began to bolt the door of her room and to block it with the old credenz, a cabinet, before she went to sleep. Aber der Tate soll nicht schreien, aber der Tate soll sich beruhigen. Only so that her father should not shout or scream, and so that her father should calm down. Aber der Tate hat sich nicht beruhigt, but her father did not calm down. Reb Shimmeles wilde Aufhappenischen inmitten der Nacht seien geworden stürmerischer. Reb Shimmeles outbursts in the middle of the night became more violent. Hat immerhin gescholten, gerissen sich die Haar von Kopf, gesiedelt Zirrelen hinter dem abgeschlossenen Tirol. Now this immerhin, I think, refers to Cyrilla. He cursed her and he tore his hair from his head, and he berated Cyrilla behind the locked little door. Das hat genommen.
Excuse me, I'm not sure that is Cyrilla, that he is cursing. It's almost as though at this point he's become so possessed that he's cursing someone. He almost himself, this inner drive that he can't control. He's just cursing someone, but he also curses her. But there's like an inner, this inner turmoil. And
yes, he cursed someone. It doesn't mean that he necessarily cursed her.
Yeah. Okay, the Yetzer Hara, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Later on, he calls her the Lilith.
Lilith, yeah.
Yes, we'll have to have a little lecture about that, Yankov. So prepare. Please.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, I must say I don't know very much about it, but anyway.
Well, this is an opportunity to learn, a Gelegenheit zu lernen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Komm
okay.
dicke mal, wollen wir reden wegen dem.
Komm dicke mal.
Ja. Okay. Das hat genommen auffallen die Schreinim ins Wolk. It began to attract the attention of the neighbors in the Zavuluk, in the alleyway. Bei Nacht Keulis und Gewein, bei Tag Keulis und Gewein. At night they would hear voices and loud noises and crying, and during the day they would hear loud noises and crying as well. Beim Taten und bei seiner Tochter seien die Augen leblich gewinn ungeschwollen. Both with the father and with his daughter, their eyelids were swollen. Von nicht schlafen, sie von vergessen trären, Was it because of not sleeping, or was it because their eyes had, tears had poured out of their eyes? Hat man sich ungeheben zu schuschken, and people began to whisper. Was tut sich das beim Säufer in Stibala? What's going on with the scribe in his little house? Die Kleapke in Moyach hat sich bei Reb Shimelen geriert. So this word Kleapke means, it actually means a flap, but I think in English you could say there's a screw loose in his mind, in Reb Shimeler's mind. It's moved, screws loose. A Kleinigkeit. Ein Mensch fasst Tainism und schreibt Tag und Nacht. A small matter, meaning a big matter. The man fasts all the fasts, and he writes the Sefer Torah day and night. Und on a balaboste in Stub, and without a woman to arrange things in the house. Gedacht zin soll chasna haben. He should really have got married. Gesehen wie Cyril zet ois? Have you seen how what Cyril looks like? Geht ois wie a Licht. She's being extinguished like a candle. A Kind trockt auf sich a Balabatischkeit. This child carries on her shoulders such a maturity, such a heavy load. Gedacht zen a reinmischen sich. Somebody should do something about it. Gedacht und wieder steiger ist bei solche edle Sachen is als geblieben wie gewesen. So you should have, and as things happen with these delicate subjects, everything remained as it was. Nothing was done. Cyrilla is umgegangen mit geschwollenen Augen, und Shimele hat geschrieben Reb Yeshaiah's Sefer Torah. Cyrilla went around with these swollen eyelids, and Shimele continued to write Reb Yeshaiah's Torah. Etliche Tag vor Yom Kippur ist der Säufer der Gangen zum Sof von Parshas Balak. A few days before Yom Kippur, the scribe reached the end of the Parsha of Balak. Beim Schein von kleinem Lempel hat sich sein gänzene Feder, by the shine of the little lamp, the little candle, his goose feather hat weich geglitscht über dem Parment und verschrieben an aufreizendicke Zähne, als so zu sagen. So his goose feather, his quill, softly slid over the parchment, and he wrote a provocative and this exciting scene, which read as follows.
Yankev, please read the next page, the paragraph with the psukim from the Tanakh, because
Right.
you know
Please.
you know best how to translate.
Translate.
Okay. Right. Hat das Volk genommen verkehren mit die Töchter von Moab. Haben sie gerufen das Volk zu die Opfer von seiner Götter und das Volk hat gegessen und gebuckt sich zu seiner Opgötter. So the people had came into contact with the daughters of Moab, and the daughters of Moab called the people to their sacrifices. Opfer is a sacrifice to their gods, and the people began. They ate of the sacrifices and they bowed to their idols. Okay?
One more section like that, okay?
Okay.
The next
Okay.
one.
Ja. Über den
Thank you.
Stub hat Zirele herumgepaddiert, Stillerheit, wie ein Kitzel, und gemacht die Betten. So around the house, Zirele bustled around the house quietly, like a kitten, like a little cat. And she made the beds. A frier dem Tatens Bett hinteren Paravan, first of all the father's bed behind the partition, noch ihr eigene Bett in ihr Kamero, and afterwards her own bed in her little room. Das Herz beim Säufer hat scharf genommen Nogen, nur hat sich gestärkt und weitergeschrieben. The heart of the Säufer's heart began to nag, to gnaw. Perhaps his heart felt, he had felt pain in his heart, it's unclear. But he braced himself and he carried on writing. Hat noch Pinchas, der Sohn Pinchas, der Sohn von Elazar, der Sohn von Aaron, der Kohen, ist aufgestanden von der Versammlung und genommen a Spieß in Hand. So, Pinchas, the son of Elazar, who was Aaron's son, saw Aaron the Cohen's son, got up from the meeting, and he took a spear in his hand, und ist gekommen noch ein Mann von Israel in Alker und hat derstochen sie beiden, der Mann von Israel und die Frauenzimmer in ihr Alker. So he came after the man of Israel in the alcove, and he stabbed both of them, the man from Israel, the Jew, and the woman, in this alcove.
Thank you.
Can I ask you? I want to ask Yankov something in connection with that. So is Pinchas considered a by the sages, by the learned people, not people like me? Is he considered a hero for having done this? Is he considered? Is he praised for this behavior?
He's acted like a zealot, but at a later stage, two of the sons of and this is a grandson. Pinchas was a grandson, but two of
Right.
the sons of Aaron died because they acted in a zealous way. It had to do with sacrificing, and they acted acted in a way which was contrary to what Hashem had ordered Aaron to do. They brought a strange fire into the to the altar.
So is the zealotry something which is considered laudable and praiseworthy, or considered not?
No, I think it's considered negative, in a negative light,
Negatively.
because
Okay.
you need to follow the rules. You can't take
Mhm.
matters into your own hands and do things, do what you want to do. You have to follow what is prescribed.
Okay.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
the
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you. Thank
okay.
you, Janke. See? Wir lernen teure durch, hè? Okay.
No. It's part of it, isn't
It's
it?
part of the story.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nechamale, go on.
Okay. An aufgekochte, wie von a Kate aufgerissen, ist Reb Shimele plötzlich angelaufen auf Zirle sein Tochter in ihr Algerell, angehabt sie vor die Zepp und genommen schreien. An overexcited person, an overzealous one, sort of like Pinchas, you could say.
Enraged. Yeah.
Enraged, like from a kate is a chain, as though from a chain. What does that mean? He was ripped from a chain, as though he was. I mean, what is the image there? That he was loosened. That he was.
He was bound by a chain, but he ripped himself out.
Out of it, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
like ripped from a chain. He suddenly ran to Cyrilla, his daughter, in her alcove, grabbed her by the braid,
Right.
and began to scream. Du wirst bei mir heint nicht nächtigen. Du hörst, you are not going to remain tonight in this house. Do you hear me? Heint wirst du bei mir nicht nächtigen. Today, you are not going to stay here at night. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Also schreiendig hat sie herausgestoßen auf the Gas. So screaming in this way, he pushed her into the street. Verhakt die Laden, he closed the shutters, verschlossen die Tür und weggesetzt sich schreiben den nicht verendige Geries bis tief in der Nacht herein. So he pushed her out, he closed the shutters, he locked the door, and he sat himself down again and worked on the not yet completed pages until deep into the night.
Can I just say the word verhakt?
Absolutely.
The word verhakt is he slammed the shutters.
It's even stronger.
Yeah.
Cyrilla hat übergenächtigt beim Ashochen, beim Simcha de Stolia. We remember him well. Cyrilla spent the night at the neighbor's house by Simcha the carpenter. And we remember that this was the same house that the Adam, the son-in-law of the Melamed, also was taken after the terrible incident in the slaughterhouse. So this is like his house is like a house of refuge in a way
Yes.
for the neighborhood.
Interesting.
Yeah, his house is a peaceful house. And zu Morgen, untergewarmt von gutherzige Schreinen, and in the morning warmed from the good-hearted neighbors. Is sie weg zum Reb Yeshilem und beklagt sich vor ihm. She went in the morning to Reb Yeshayla and she cried for him. As der Tate behandelt sie schlecht, as the father is treating her badly. Sie weiß nicht für was, and sie weiß nicht für wen. That's an idiom, I guess, that means she doesn't know why he's treating her this way. She's baffled by it. Is the sound good, Marcia? Is it okay? Okay, very good. Dem ganzen Emes zu erzählen hat sie sich nebig geschämt. To tell the whole, she was ashamed to tell the whole truth. Wegen dem, als der Tote schlägt sie und wilde wird in Mitternacht, to tell that, for example, that the father hits her and goes wild in the middle of the night. Kein Wort nicht gesagt. No word about this did she say. Verschleiert und verstellt und mit halber Welte hat sie sich beklagt. So veiled and hidden, as a lot of female victims are, and with half words, she cried. Nor beshemes, but practically, this is gewein genug. But as a practical matter, this was enough for him to get the picture.
Mashmoes. It's pronounced mashmoes.
Mashmoes.
Yeah.
So he got the picture, and Reb Yeshayla Zal Lesson hat weggeschickt dem Shames seinem noch in so viel. And Reb Yeshayla, he should live long, sent his Shames to bring the Sofel. Gleich in Eufenstell soll ihm herbringen. Quickly and immediately he should bring him to the house.
Nechama, excuse me, did you say beklagt? She cried? What is that beklagt? You said she cried? Beklagt is complain.
Yes.
Complain.
Beklagen is to complain, not to cry. She complained about him. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Is Reb Shimele gekommen zu gehen mit gebrochenen Knie und mit gebeugenem Kopf. So Reb Shimele came with broken knees, or with broken knees and with a bowed head. Geschämt sich zu gucken dem Rav in die Augen rein. He was too embarrassed even to look the Rav, I guess the rabbi in the eyes. Hat in ihm Reb Yeshayla reingesucht a großen Stück Musser. The Reb Yeshayla spoke to him a very large piece of, would you call that ethics, or would you call that a lesson, a musser? How would you translate?
A lesson. He gave him like a
lesson. He gave him a lesson.
No, he gave him a lesson. He preached to him. It's like a, yeah.
He preached to him a message.
Yeah.
Deutsch. Wie kommt das a Jid, a Balteure, soll vergessen, as sein Tochter is a Yesoma, a nid gewachsener? How can it be? How can it happen that a learned Jew would forget that his daughter is, after all, she is also an orphan and also a child, a kind. A Reusgejogen nur inmitten dem Nacht
Go, go. Ausgejogen, go.
To push her out in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night on the street. Es ist nicht geheilt geworden, als sah, und nicht gesehen geworden. Very good, Marcia. It's not something that we would see, and nothing that we would hear. We wouldn't hear about such a thing. We wouldn't see such a thing. Azat tate is wert men soll im knassenen. Such a father should be fined, should be punished. Steht Reb Shimele, a gebrochene, a zerrudeter, wie a schwache Pflanz in a Schlagsregen. So Reb Shimele stands there, a broken man, a disturbed man, like a weak plant in a heavy rainstorm. Und lost über sich fallen dem Rebbis Musser und entfällt kein Wort nicht. So
Kein Wort nicht.
Kein Wort nicht. Let me just look at that over again. And he answers.
Goldele, Cain is also good.
No,
Okay,
it's kein. Kein, nicht kein. Kein. So
Kein,
hat gar
okay.
nichts zu tun mit Galicianisch oder Polish. Das Wort ist kein.
But my
Okay.
mother said Cain.
Well, she was wrong.
Well, and I'm your mother.
Die Litwaken
So he
sagen
stands
kein.
there.
Ah,
Ich will
and he
sagen,
thank-
aber ich
thank
bin
you,
nicht so Litwa.
Yankev. I have a defender here. Yeah, yeah. Me
Ja,
sagen
aber-
not Cain,
Stands
yo,
there.
Yankev.
He stands there and he
Es
lets
ist kein,
lets
nicht
the
kein.
rabbi's lesson
Oi.
fall over him and does not answer a word. Reb Seufel schreit euch im Reb Yeshayla on. Was schweigt ihr? Reb Seufel screams at him, Reb Yeshayla. Why are you silent? Reden sollt ihr. Speak up. Entfällt Reb Shimele op coin. So he barely answered. Die vergräute Bod zittert bei ihm und in die Augen stehen Tränen. The grayed beard, we had that great image of how his whole image was changing and how he was aging, is shaking, and his eyes, and tears are in his eyes. Was soll ich suchen und was soll ich reden? What can I say and what can I speak? As
Yeah,
ihr
it's like
Rebbe
synonyms,
sind
yeah.
gerecht wie der Tag. As you are, Rebbe, are as bright as the day. Und Zirla is euch gerecht. And Zirla, my daughter, is also right. A ruach stus is in mir rein. Some momentary madness, would that it were just momentary, it entered me. Ich hab gewollt die Parsha Bolok endigen einer allein. I wanted to finish this Parsha completely alone, in ganzen allein, completely alone. A Schotten von an Isha soll bei mir in Stub nicht sein. A shadow, even a shadow of a woman, shouldn't be in my house. Mein eigene Tochter soll leben, mir nicht sehen. My own daughter, she should live. I didn't want to see. Hat Rebbe Yeshayla a heim getun, seine. Now, this I did actually mention to Yankov today when we took a break from talking about all of you. Seine durchdringende Augen und reingestochen sie in einem Sophils Blasen Ponnen. So Reb Yeshayla raised his piercing eyes and put them into the Sophir's And the
Sorry,
scribe-
Nechama, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat the last sentence? How did you
Yeah,
translate?
So
Yeah.
he, by next week, I will have accustomed myself to my new computer. But you
Okay.
should never buy a new computer. Better to stay with what you have.
Okay, okay.
Reb Yeshai,
Stay without a
Reb
computer.
Yeshai-
Don't buy a new one. Yeah.
Nah, need a computer, but we need Marsha with us. Reb Yeshai lifted his piercing eyes.
Okay, thank
and
you.
Put these in the scribe's pale face. What I said to Yankov today when we met was that if he had such piercing eyes and he understood what was happening, why did he not choose to act and protect Cyrilla? Because she was clearly endangered. But anyway, that word appears a few times in this section, in this parsha, in this section. Der noch angenommen die Schöneburg und sie getan sie mit Kiefers wie allemal bei Machen a Parsha oder
Pshora.
bei
Pshora.
Peshora, by Pesachinen a halbe Shela. So his piercing eyes had entered the face, seen the face of the scribe, and what he does is he takes his beautiful beard, and now what is a pull mit tekifas with
Authority.
Yeah.
with authority.
Authority. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
With authority. As always, when he is making a
compromise,
or deciding a difficult question. So
thank you, Nechama. Yeah.
Wait, I want to ask a question. Is the answer to my question?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question? Because I didn't hear.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat the question. Why is it? And this because several times I could look back and find when in the description of Reb Yeshaya, his eyes are described as durchdringende, piercing eyes that could see things. He's a very intuitive man.
Yeah.
Why didn't he intervene here? But maybe the answer is in the last section there, that he's making a compromise. He sees the danger, but he says, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going. It's a hard question.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Now that you brought up this question, you always bring such questions.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I started to think that here also this Shneur is criticizing the rabbi. It's like the social criticism is not only about this one or that one in the shtetl or the whole shtetl as a society, but now even that very respectable Rav, and even with all his intuition and perceptiveness and all, and he and his ability to foresee the future of this, he did not intervene, like you say, Nechama. He did not intervene to prevent it from happening, and this is where Shneur is criticizing the Rav, the big Rav.
No, but just a minute. Excuse me. I want to intervene, but you have to remember that Rebbe Shaya told him long ago, before he started, that it was time for him to marry.
He told him, but he didn't do anything else.
Yes, but and he lived his life, and he was a scribe, and he was busy, and perhaps they didn't meet anymore.
See,
Okay.
What I was gonna say was-
now,
So let's continue reading and we'll find out why.
Okay, no, but I just want to add just one last thing. My first reading or second reading was just what Rachel said, that he was wrong, that it was not correct that he did it. But when I read that last sentence, I think that's not it, that he recognized the danger, but he couldn't, he saw that he had to make a compromise with the situation and that it was a very hard question. After all, it was going to take the girl out of the house. So he made this choice. It's not
Yeah.
as simple as what I thought originally.
that's right.
Which is,
Yeah,
it's
right.
the
But what
criticism.
Shneur is telling me is this dangerous situation is not to be compromised.
Well,
This is what Shneur is
That's-
telling me, that you, wichtige Rebbe, wichtige Rov, you don't compromise with your paskenen and this and holding your beard and this and that.
Right.
You shouldn't have compromised. You should have saved the girl's life.
Okay.
well,
Reb
that's what I first
Seifer.
thought.
Reb Seifer macht er. Ich habe euch schon einmal gesagt, El Tihi Tzadik Harba.
Arbeit.
Seid nicht zu viel fromm. Und zugegeben, ein bisschen Stille. Man darf früher Chassen haben, Reb Seifer. Wollt gewinn a Sachgleiche. So he said, Mr. Scribe, he said, I told you once before, don't be too religious. And then he added a little quieter, but you should have married before the scribe. It would have been a lot easier. Hat dem Reb Schimmele mit a zitterdicke Stimme zugesagt. So the scribe answered him with a shaky voice and said, as it's set der Folgen. He said, now I will listen. I will follow your edict or whatever.
Also
mir sich-
zugesagt, entschuldigt,
Yes, a
God,
zugesagte.
he promised.
He
He
promised that now he will listen.
Yeah.
But mir zu Shem, nach die Yom Tovim, and after the Jewish holy days, mir zu Shem, it'll happen, that Zen verendigen dem Chumash Devarim. And after the Jewish holy days, he's going to finish the Chumash Devarim. That's words, right?
Deuteronomy.
It's called in English
Oh,
Deuteronomy, that book.
Deuteronomy. And when vet nemen a balabuster in stub, and he's going to take a balabuster, Mr. Vibe, a balabuster, someone to make the beds and the food. I'm not a feminist, but that really rubs me the wrong way. Okay.
Thank you, Goldale, for that. Yeah. Me too.
Okay.
I'm with
Yes.
you on that. Yeah.
Yes.
Balabuster.
Yeah.
This is a
Evet nemen a
title. This is
balabuster in stub.
a title.
Yeah. Zet schein, sagt Baruch Hashem, allein, als es gewinn a schwere Nader,
Neither.
Nader. He already sees, a blessed be he alone, that it was a difficult, what's Nader?
Promise.
Oh,
Okay.
Oath.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Oath, yeah. Oath.
No, Reb Yeshaya is Sefer Torah will endigen, also wie hat sie angehalten. In Reinkeit und in Frisches. But he, but he says to Reb Yeshaya, he wants to finish the Sefer Torah first, the way he began it, with cleanliness and precious.
That's seclusion. Seclusion.
It's on the bottom, there's a star, there's a little footnote.
Yeah, I know, but I can't see the footnote. Hat
Ja,
Reb Shimele,
Abgesondert von Weiber.
Entschuldig mir, we stopped for the that and Nahama reads the footnotes.
I'll read it. Abgesonderheit von Weiber. Separation from women. He wants to be free, separated from women during this time.
so that means he doesn't want his daughter there either. Hat Reb Yeshaya so leben. I hate getan de Bala, the Ba'at Lester places nu, Sehes, ob der Seufen ist so eingespart, so soll tun, wie will. So, Reb Yeshaya said, so Reb Yeshaya, he should live so long. He lifted his back, he straightened up, and he said, "No, it means that that if you're so stubborn, then you have to do what you want. Einweilige ist noch geblieben sitzen auf der Trachte. For another moment or two, he remained sitting thoughtfully. In sein rabbinischer Futterstuhl, in his rabbinic chair, Fennec chair, mit der schönen balden Hand, with his beautiful beard in his hand. Danach ist Havolje aufgestanden und mit derselben Vertrachtkeit Areusballkleid dem Säufer und sein Tachterl. And then afterward, he slowly stood, and with the very same thoughtfulness, he escorted the scribe and his daughter out. Gate machte, Gesundheit. So he said, in good health. Und der Ewigste soll euch beiden helfen. And God should help you both. Und was hat mit beiden gemeint, ist erst später klar geworden. And what he said with the word baden,
What he meant. Yeah.
Let me finish. Later, it will be more understood. Okay,
It is a little hard.
Yes. Do you want to raise the screen? We'll continue with Beth.
Yeah. No, but it is a
Cordele,
little
you want to
hard
continue?
Yeah, I didn't read much.
I think so.
just
I agree.
Okay, no. You,
Go on, Cordele.
Rachel, you read because it's getting late. I'm satisfied. I'm a good listener. Okay, you read your portion.
Okay. די פורטק פר יום כיפר, הוציר אלה gelebt in eine Zitternisch. Those few days that preceded Yom Kippur, Zirle was living in fear. Der Tate hat geschwiegen, nur sein Schweigen ist gewesen schrecklicher wie früher sein Siedlen sie. The father was quiet, but his silence is given more terrible than his former cursing her. Zweimal a Tag hat sich getäufelt, abgekommen mit Druckens und a Sach geschrieben. Twice a day he went to the mikveh he purified himself with water, and he came back dry, and he wrote a lot. Die Backen seine noch mehr eingefallen, nur die Augen haben gebrennt mit einem modernen gelblichen Feuer, wie bei einer Katz, lehavdil, in der Finster. His cheeks like became more
Sunken in.
sunken in. Thank you, Goldele. Sunken in, but the eyes were burning with a strange yellowish fire. Like with a cat, and like with a cat. Let's separate between a cat and a human being. In the fence, like a cat in the dark. Yeah. How do you translate lehavdil that it should be nice, Yanke?
Lehavdil, it's to make a separation.
To make a separation? Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Or maybe you would say not to be compared, not to be compared. It's different. It's very different.
Yeah.
What did you say, Yanke?
Yeah.
No, he didn't say it. I said
what Nechama said.
No, I
is
didn't
correct.
hear what Nechama said either. Yeah.
I said to make a difference, to
make a difference, yeah,
differentiate,
yeah.
to differentiate.
Differentiate. Yeah.
Yes,
To differentiate is great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
To differentiate.
Okay. Jetzt wieder mal, wenn sie pflegt sich begegnen mit der Zakuk, pflegt sie abkehren dem Kopf, gucken on a side. Each time when she met such a look, when she saw such a look on his face, she used to turn her head away to the side, to look to the side. And when allein ist sie a ganzen Tag umgegangen auf die Zipkelach, Meure gehabt, rauszureden a Wort. And she herself would walk around on her tiptoes.
right.
Mhm.
She was afraid to say a word. Zum Tisch gedreht dem Taten zappländig und zitterndig und allein gegessen in Kochstube. So she was preparing the food to, she was serving the food for the father, while fidgeting and shaking, and she herself was eating in the kitchen. Bei Nacht hat sie euch kein Ruhe nicht gehabt. At night she also didn't have any rest. In ihr abgeschlossener und versparter Tirl hat der Tate mehr nicht geklappt. Aber leichter ist ihr davon nicht gewesen. Her father did not already knock on her slammed and locked up door. He didn't knock on her door anymore, but it didn't make it any easier for her. Warum jeder Mal, wenn sie vielleicht geben a Vorwurf von Schittering und Dremmel, vielleicht sie der Herrn wie der Tate rechts hinter sein Paravan und prepelt modne Psukim. So why didn't she feel any lighter from that? Because each time when she would get up from her light sleep, she would hear how her father would sigh behind his
Partition.
partition, and mumble strange biblical verses. Sie wohl gemerkt schweren, als solche meine Psukim hat sich schon da nicht lang gehört von Jeschaya lernen, wenn ist da gewähnt zu Gast und gemacht Lechaim. She could swear that she already heard such biblical verses not long ago from Yeshayale, the Rebbe, when he was visiting them, and when they were making Elechaim, they were drinking wine. And the psuk, but and that's Yankev, you said it's from Yecheskel, but also from it's in the Haggadah.
In Haggadah, yeah.
Yeah. We just read it. Vatarbi vatigdeli und bist ois gewachsen und groß geworden und bist gekommen zu dein Schenkheit. So you have grown up and you have matured and you have reached your beauty. You have blossomed into your beauty. Deine Brüste seien zugegräht geworden und deine Haare haben ausgesprotzt. Like your breasts are ready, and your hair like came out. Also, came out. Und inmitten drinnen reißt der Tate über seine wilde Tfiles, Eiton kritzen mit die Zehen und schilt immerzen in der Finster. Lily, okay. In the middle of this, when while he's reciting these verses, he stops them. He stops this kind of praying. And he starts grinding his teeth, and he is cursing someone in the dark. Lilith, aruach in dein Tate herein. Lilith. Now, Lilith in Jewish, Lilith they call Lilith the queen of the demons.
Right.
The queen of the demons. That really means like she a bad woman. So I think
We all know who Lilith was.
I've come by Lilith in other pieces of Yiddish literature. They always call Lilith Lilith is a big seductress. That's the idea.
Lilith was actually Adam's first wife.
That is different, but
Okay, okay, let's just continue.
yeah, that's different. But he for in Yiddish literature, I see always Lilith is they call it Lilith a seductress. That's what she's the queen of demons, and she's a big seductress, and men she encounters men and seduces them. That's the Lilith. So he calls her his daughter. This, you queen of demons, you are the biggest seductress. Erb Yom Kippur is Reb Shimele ruhiger geworden. On the eve of Yom Kippur, Reb Shimele became calmer. Hat aufgehört zu reden mit sich allein und ist ganz früh weggelaufen in Mikve rein. He stopped talking to himself, and very early in the morning he ran to the Mikve. A ganzen Tag hat gesagt Tehillim und fahren Fasten weitergelaufen in Mikve. And before, all day long he was reciting the Psalms, and before the fast he ran to the mikveh, all to purify himself from his lust that he felt. Vor sein Weggehen in Bes Midrash und auf Zirele, seine Tochter, starb Rachmones gekrogen. Mochel gewinnt ihm alle Jesurim, was hat angetan die letzte etliche Wochen. Before he went into the synagogue, Zirele, his daughter, really felt sorry for him, and she already forgave him all the torture that he gave her. In the recent few weeks.
In the past few weeks.
In the what?
In the past few weeks.
Okay. I said recent is not good. Why not recent? Let's say in the recent. And past is the same thing, no? Past and recent. Beschaß hat genommen die Klianke von dir wegzugehen, ist zu ihm zugelaufen mit Tränen in die große schwarze Augen, gewünscht ihm von tiefem Herzen. A geringen Tannes sollst du haben, Tatinke. And when he was holding the doorknob to go out, to go to the synagogue, Zirele ran to him, and with tears in her eyes, in her big black eyes, wished him out of, wished him full-heartedly. An easy fast. You should have an easy fast, Daddy. Is it time to end?
No.
Okay,
no.
okay. Hat ihr aber gar nicht geantwortet. He didn't even answer her at all. Nicht zurückgewünscht. He didn't wish her back. Hat nur verstellt dem ausgemogerten Pony mit a Break von Kittel und ist gich und schweigendig weggegangen. He didn't answer her. He only covered his thinned out face with the edge of the talus,
No, the
kittel.
kittel. The
What
kittel.
is kit? What is
Kittel
kit?
is the white robe that you wear on the Yom Kippur.
Mm.
So what is the difference between kittel and talus?
A
A
talus
talus
is
is the talus. It's your
Is-
prayer shawl.
Yeah.
And the kittel is the white coat.
So I don't see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get religion lessons now.
Wait. Is the
From
kittel,
the
is the kittel
yeah,
related to what you're going to be buried in also? I mean, are you buried
No,
in a
no,
kittel?
no,
Is
no,
one
no.
there- No?
No, that's not a
No?
kittel. No,
Okay.
no, but
That's a shroud. That's a
a
shroud.
kittel,
it's a shroud.
a kittel is it's not related, and you're not buried in the kittel.
No,
But the kittel represents the shroud that you buried in, because a man is buried in his talus in the shrouds.
and the shroud. But the reason I don't feel that the kittel represents the shroud, but I think the kittel represents the cleanness of starting a new year with a blank slate.
On
that
what
you're-
occasions
Okay.
does one wear a kittel?
Only on the high holy days, and also on a certain time in Pesach during prayers. At a certain portion of the prayers, they put the kittel on with the
Oh.
talus over it.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God!
correct.
You know, I
When
never saw it. My parents only went to shul on Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, and my father never wore a kittel, so I don't know.
Well,
it's,
no, but
it's
I want
only
to just,
it's
you don't
only
wear
a-
a kittel on,
Most people don't wear a kittel. They wear something white. It's only the rabbi or, that wears
Oh,
a
okay,
kittel.
okay.
from
So
people.
anyway, to go back to our
When I
life,
go to shul on Yom Kippur, I only wear white. I'll wear a white
Yes,
suit,
yes,
only
yes.
white.
yes,
no, but
Me too.
normative religious people who are halachic, they would wear a kittel on Yom Kippur, and when else during the year would they wear?
A choshen wears a kittel under the chuppah.
Chuppah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so very hurriedly and quietly, he went away. He went to shul. Now, who can read now? Who wants to read? You want
Okay,
Gondale to read more?
Ja, a bisschen.
Okay, go ahead.
Von Tiere wegzugehen, where are you?
Zu Kol Nidre.
Okay, hat dir aber gar nicht. Oh, okay. Zu Kol Nidre in alten Beis Medrash ist gestanden an eingewickelter in Kittel und Talis und in Meure waren Yom Hadin. And at the time of Kol Nidre in the old shul, he stood with his kittel on and his talis, and he was afraid before the Yom Hadin, before taking the
Judgment
going
Day.
before the
Judgment.
judgment, right? Als Zerbrochene ist so geblieben stehen die ganze Zeit von Davenen. He remained standing the entire time that he was praying Ma'ariv und von Nachsagen alle lange Yom Kippur dicke Tfilis nach dem Chasen. Is it? And might have and from repeating all the Yom Kippur Dika prayers after the Chazan. Die Augen seien bei ihm gewesen halb geschlossen. His eyes remained half closed. Die Baut weiß und der ausgepeinigte Panem. His beard white and his suffering face, weiß. His face was white. Und der ganze Äußern von der Heiligen, was hat sich abgesagt von alles, was gehört sich an mit eurem Hazeh. And for a religious man, for a holy person,
Yes.
that abgesagt von alles, that denied himself of everything that belonged to him with this in this world.
It was connected to this world. Yeah.
Yes. In jener Nacht, nach Meidet, is Reb Shimele Ahem nicht gekommen. And that night, after the night of davening, the scribe did not return to his house. Had genechtigt in Beis Medrash. He stayed at night at the synagogue. Cyrilla hat sich das nicht übrig genommen zum Herzen. Cyrilla didn't take this to her heart. She didn't. It didn't bother her really. Sie hat gewusst, als alle fromme Jiden seien sich als sei neuig. She understood that all religious Jews do this because they feel it's important. Sie bleiben die ganze Nacht von Erev Yom Kippur auf Yom Kippur in Beis Medrash. They remain the entire night from the eve of Yom Kippur, during Yom Kippur, in the house, in the synagogue. Und gaben a drimmel auf a Heifelstreu mit a Kulak zu Kappens bis Fatag. And they might fall asleep for a little while on straw with the kulak to Kappens with the head.
A fist. A fist.
Oh, a fist next to your head until daylight. Von deswegen, inmitten der Nacht, wenn sie hat gegeben, vor euch von Schlaf, wie ihr Steiger ist, die letzte Zeit, haben ihr gefällt, dem Taten-17 hinteren Paravan und sein Fluchten mitten in der Finster. Sie hat eine Weile gehorcht und danach sie weint sich und nicht kennt ausweinen sich. And in spite of everything, in the middle of the night, when she awoke for a minute from her sleep, as it happens on occasion during the last period of time, she missed her father's sighs behind his portion of his room and his cursing someone in the dark. Sie hat eine Weile gehorcht und danach sie weint sich und nicht gekannt ausweinen sich. For a while, she listened and then she started crying and she couldn't stop crying. Auf den Herzen ist ihr gewesen schwer, Und für was hat sie nicht gewusst? Her heart was very heavy and she didn't understand why. Zum Morgen, Yom Kippur, hat sie einen ganzen Tag gefasst und zusammen mit allen jüdischen Töchtern von Savolik gedavent in der weiblichen Schule von Alten Beis Medrash. In the morning, Yom Kippur, she fasted the entire day, and along with all the other Jewish daughters from Zavolik, she davened in the women's section of the old shul. Durch die Hilzene gratis hat sie mit ihren unruhigen Augen gesucht und abgesucht dem Taten zwischen die Davner. And through the wooden gratis, the separation.
Bars. This is what I found this is what the dictionary.
Bars. But I mean the
Yeah,
separation.
wooden bars.
of the-
That's what the
Yeah.
dictionary says.
Okay. She with her eyes that were umruik, they were not restful eyes. She looked and looked for her father between the daveners but below her. Is die ganze Zeit gestanden, gebeugen über Machzor und Ständer. The entire time he was standing bent over his machzor, over the prayer book, and standing. Kein Minute nicht zugesetzt sich. He never sat
A
down.
stender is it's like a piece of wood.
No, it's like
the
the
holder.
davening. Yes, it's like it's almost like
It's
a
a stand.
lectern, but it's a stand
lectern,
where,
yeah.
The reading lecture.
they put their davening books.
So what do you call it in English?
A lectern.
Okay. Yeah, that's what the dictionary said also.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Der Talus ist ihm wie a Schleier gehangen über den Pannen und die breiten Falten von Kittel seinen Schlaf gehangen sein aufgemogelten Guff. His talus, like him, was unruly. It was hanging on over his head, and and the broad portion of the kittel was just hanging against his body that became so thin. A hyphen mit Tzchrichim, a body, I don't know what a hyphen is.
A
A
pile.
pile. Okay.
With a tachlichim, that's what you're buried in.
Shroud.
Kind
Shroud.
levitic a shroud, not like a living person. Fat Nihila, denn die Sonne hat sich kein genommen herablassen. After, before Nihila, which is the last prayer, that when the sun almost disappeared, is showing Cyrilla a weggelaufen heen. Cyrilla ran home today to great alles was man darf in order to prepare everything that you need. Zum Tisch gegräht, lecker angeschnitten, die kalte
Kapore.
Kapore herausgenommen von Almerl in Vierhuis. Der Tate soll sich kennen abfassen, wie nur don't remove anymore. She put everything on the table. She cut the cake.
The kapore.
The
Hello?
called the kapore.
Kapore is the chicken.
Oh, never. I don't like to call it chicken kapore. I'd never read it.
Yeah, I know, but this is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
She took it out from the almerl in the Vierhuis, in the other section of the house, I imagine.
yeah.
Front room.
So,
Yeah.
so the father should be able to fast. You know,
break
coming
his
ahead.
fast.
Break
Break the fast, to break the fast.
Break his fast.
Yes,
Auffassen,
yes.
to stop the fast. Yeah.
Mit Ungeduld hat sie gewahrt auf den ersten Stern. With impatience, waited for the first star. Kedai zu machen fire in full samovar. In order to light the fire and make a hot drink in the samovar. Tee verpaaren. In order to make tea. Now, der Yom Kippur Tag hat sich modne lang gezogen, but the Yom Kippur Day was suddenly, strangely long, much longer.
Dragged on.
Yes, it dragged on. Mit
Elongated.
Reiter Volks und mit meinem dicken dicken Reitglanz hat reingeguckt in die Fenster und der Ruhe von Nacht hat bestimmt auf nicht gewollt kommen. But the Yom Kippur Day, oh, what I did that with red clouds and with a Miyam Dicken, a day,
terrible, frightening. That's Hebrew.
red
Frightening.
glare,
Threatening. Yeah.
a threatening red glare, glance.
Yeah.
Hat reingeguckt. The red glare came in through the windows, and der Ruhige von Nacht, and the calm before nightfall, it just did not want to arrive.
Okay, thank you. Let's stop here.